Hello, Quentin. Welcome to Founders Podcast.
Hello, Hash. Thanks for the invitation.
Great stuff. Quentin, I wanted to do something different in this episode, and that's why I wanted to go in a different direction today. Imagine this: you are in a room full of ambitious founders, early stage builders, right? No one knows you, no one knows your name. What do you do? Or, they have no understanding of who you are. You are just asked to go onto the stage, right? Now you have a few minutes to introduce yourself, not with your title or where you have worked, but with the stories that explains why people should trust and why people should listen to you. How would you begin?
I would begin probably by explaining why I'm doing everything and why I'm entrepreneurs.
Go on then.
Uh,
Proceed.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so I would explain that I've always been super excited by building stuff from my child. I was building first some toys, but then very quickly I created a few cabins on the neighborhood, on the forest close to my house. And then with my father, that was a carpenter, I started to build some houses, real ones, where people were living. And then I moved to code and to entrepreneurship. But I've always been building stuff, and with the mindset that if we build something, it should stay for long, and it should be used by someone that will cherish it. And I think it's super important to build something that people will cherish. It's not only building for doing money; it's also with a purpose, doing things for people.
Indeed, indeed. As you mentioned that you have been building toys for your kid, and then you have eventually you had this trajectory to move into the product development. I want to learn more about you as a person, but before we move into that, let's talk about where the story began. Or even before that, let's talk about MiliSearch. What does the product do? Who is it for? And what's the main problem you're helping to solve?
So initially, when we created the company, the goal was to build a solution that will help anyone to find anything on internet, but more precisely on private data. We were sick of seeing very bad search experience into different websites or applications. As a person that is dyslexia, personally, I'm always having difficulties at finding things online. So and myself and my co-founder were really into trying to solve this issue, but at large scale, not only for big corporate, but for everyone. That's why we also open sourced MeiliSearch. Now it's starting to move a bit, mostly with all the AI thing that is happening, because what we see is that MeiliSearch is becoming more and more not only a search platform or a search API, but we are moving to more an information retrieval platform where there is data that we can ingest and we can index. And then on top of this, we can create amazing experience to search content, to discover content, or to chat with content.
Got it. And who is your ideal customer persona then?
Today, our ideal customer persona is a scale-up that have some issue to scale their technique, their SaaS application. And we are always discussing with the CTOs or the VP of engineering that is leading the choice for such heavy technologies. But the best is that we are also discussing with people like us. So it's what also motivates us, and that's why we are good at what we are doing, is because we speak the same language.
Right, right. So you're saying that you are so founders come up with the problems to solve either by working, or they have experiences working in the similar industry, or in the past, and they face the problem, or they face the problem in their personal life. So there's a odd saying, something like eat your own dog's food or something like that. If you have faced the challenge, then you work and get that things done, right? So when you had this epiphany, when you started working on the product, did you look into the market? Were there other products? What was going on? And at that time, what did you see from your research that encouraged you to move ahead with this idea?
Yeah, so basically, what was our secret at that time? When we started the company, we were working into a very big French marketplace, a massive one, and they were using Elasticsearch. Not very happy about it for many reasons. Very hard to maintain, very hard to use, etc. So they decided to put a team of engineers working on this problem. I was on that team, and we had to do a big benchmark of all the existing solutions. But in fact, there were not so many solutions. Sorry, there were either Elasticsearch, Solar, or those kind of application that were still very heavy, hard to maintain, and not amazing in terms of performance of searches and relevancy. And you had not a newcomer anymore, but at the time it was still quite new. You had Algolia that was kind of
Yeah.
reinventing the experience, the search experience. Amazing search experience, super fast, super relevant, but with a very high cost.
Yeah.
And also as a black box. The thing at that time was that it was impossible for a company to use Algolia because it was a black box and because it was so much expensive. But very quickly we identify that most of the people were not using Algolia due to the price and due to their specificity more and more into e-commerces. And that if Algolia had solved the issue, everyone would have used Algolia. But all the search I was using it every day was still very terrible. So basically, probably because they didn't solve the large scale deployment of such a solution. So that's why we decided to combine best of both worlds, having the performance and relevancy from Algolia that was and that still is amazing, with the open sourceness and the configuration possibility of Elasticsearch. And we created something open source also with the spirit of Elasticsearch for being able to evangelize the world with a solution that everyone could use, try, modify, and update.
That's pretty awesome. So you're saying that MiliSearch is open source.
Definitely. MIT license, open source, 100%.
Oh, great. So if somebody wants to implement MiliSearch, what do they have to do?
So if they want to implement MeiliSearch, they can either download MeiliSearch on their laptop and try to index some data, try to do a local run MeiliSearch. And then at some point, if they want to go live in production with the application, they can either deploy the MeiliSearch into AWS, DigitalOcean, and having to manage all the infrastructure, update, security and stuff, or they choose to go to MeiliSearch Cloud that is doing all of this for them and adding some additional capabilities for getting analytics, being able to easily manage the clusters. So basically, it's how they will go.
Oh, that's interesting. And what kind of tech stack they would need? Do they have to? How does this MiliSearch open source work? Do they have to deploy? What's the tech stack it's using first of all, and then we will go deeper into it.
Yeah, so basically, if they use MeiliSearch Cloud, they have nothing to do. They just have to click on one button and they have a MeiliSearch running. It's more complicated than that if they want to go for open source. But then we are compatible with almost everything on the web because we are a simple HTTP API. So whatever technology you use, we have SDK in 23 language, I think, something like this. We are compatible with most common frameworks. We have a lot of plugins, extension, a lot of things that make the developer experience easier. And we have a very, very complete documentation. It has been something we invest on since day one. And we put a lot of effort to have the best developer experience in terms of API, but in terms of also documentation and today with the cloud.
Understood. And I want to go deeper into your size of business and then, number of customer, etc. But before we go into that, let's talk about the commercial version of MiliSearch. So you have the open source version. That's good and nice. If somebody wants to implement or, get their hands dirty, they can download it, install it on their machine, try to figure out how they can implement it. But what's the professional version of the managed version of MiliSearch works, how does it work, how much it costs, and how does it benefit the businesses?
How does it work? Basically, it's everything automatized. It's exactly when you take a database on AWS,
Mm-hmm.
where you just click on, it's not as simple on AWS, but wrong example. So you
Yep.
just click on a button on MeiliSearch Cloud and you have a HTTP endpoint
Mm-hmm.
that we provide, and that will be automatically be scaling, and where you will be able to push all your data and to have all the monitoring, analytics and stuff. So super, super easy.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of pricing, it depends on the scale of the applications and the features that are needed. There is so many options that it will be hard to say exactly. But overall, we have also a free trial that allow people to test and to see how much it will cost at the end. And we are kind of moving right now from a usage-based pricing to a more resource-based pricing, because it's also better for our ICP, the technical leaders,
Mm-hmm.
to see and to prevent their growth, to have a predictive growth of the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, yes, they just go on it. It will scale with their needs, and at any point, if they need any additional feature, enterprise, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they just have to contact us, or we will contact them before.
Cool, cool. And just for the understanding of our listeners, then let's say, for example, it's a startup, um, scale up. Let's say they got their seed funding sorted, and they're trying to build something into. They are a SaaS business, but they need search capability on their platform.
Mhm.
Let's say they have 1,000 knowledge base articles. Pure text, no images, no videos, no other media kind of things. Very small startup, but very profitable. Um, on an average, from a very high level, how much it costs them for, let's say, monthly?
For this, and let's say a small amount of users, it will be $30.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's like having a SaaS subscription.
Yes, exactly. It's the goal is to have something accessible for everyone. So
Mm.
we made a pricing that also could fit
Hmm.
for everyone.
Oh, awesome. And what does that includes? That includes access to your API, which connects with the data source, and then you start indexing it. And then whosoever comes on this SaaS platform and search anything, you provide that search results.
Yes, but it also include everything from if you need to have facets, if you want to do geo search, if you want to do full text search, semantic search,
Hmm.
searching into multiple indexes at the same time.
Hmm.
If you want to do image search, because now we have also the capability to do image search, and very soon the capability, no, already the capability to do also chat directly.
Oh, that would be great. It's like chatting with ChatGPT and understanding, oh, where is the plan and how do I upgrade, things like that.
You can reimagine it like ChatGPT based on your data, but I prefer to say like Perplexity based on your data,
Mm.
because as Perplexity, we are precise and we give the sources.
Awesome. That's great. And I like that you compared it with Perplexity, because a lot of people use ChatGPT for mundane work, but they use Perplexity for like research and when they want like exact kind of data
Yeah.
for their usage. So that's good. That's good. Can you give us a sense of the size of the business? Where are you in terms of revenue, number of customers, size of your team, etc.?
I will be very limited into the information I can give on that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's imagine today that we have more than 30,000 servers in production working,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a very good growing business on the cloud side. We have a team that is growing. We moved recently from only PLG, so product-led growth, to more and more sales-led growth.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And that's working well. It took some time to be leveraged, but
Mm-hmm.
now we are on the full speed of this growth also for enterprise.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, 30,000 servers is quite a lot of servers for customers. So I can imagine. Any figures you can share about your number of team members or how many offices you have around the globe?
So we have only one offices, but since few weeks only. We have been remote first since a long time. And we just temporarily took an office in Paris for getting the leadership a bit all together. But overall, we are remote first, so no offices, and we have around 30 people full time without the contractor and without everyone that could work around. And it would be complicated to count. It will be much more with.
That's I think that's fair. We just wanted to understand, because the thing is, it's a myth that you need hundreds and hundreds of people to become a big business, and that's what I'm trying to evaluate from these interviews with different founders. Like, if you want to create a good product, you don't necessarily need a lot of people in your team. You need good people, small lean team, but focused on one vision, and that's what matter, right?
Yes. I think there is two different parts in the company looking at this topic. You have everything that is customer facing that might still need to scale, even if there is a lot of AI that could automate a lot of things such as support and stuff. But when you are starting to do also enterprise level support, they expect to have someone, account manager, social engineer, customer support, etc. So this team and sales, those teams are scaling still with the number of customers you have. But on the other side, you are totally agree on the product engineering side and even on marketing. Small team, efficient team are better, not in all cases, but some case better, and now more and more with AI are better than big one. But the big challenge, I think, for everyone is how to manage small and agile teams to not go in every directions, but to stay also focused and on what they have to do. So it's a balance, but definitively I'm sure that we can go faster now with a smaller team, and we have seen a lot of very small team performing incredibly well. The only thing most of those teams don't have is a proper sales service for enterprise, and I still think that for this part you need to have human.
Definitely, yeah. No, AI is everywhere, but you cannot replace completely right now with two human with AI at this point. So
Yeah, it's enhanced by AI, and there is a lot of we are using AI like everywhere, and it's helped a lot the sales team, the customer support, the account manager, etc. to be better at their job, and also make them being able to focus more into the relationship than everything that is going around the report and the getting the right information at the right time. All of this could be automatized, and they can focus on the human connection.
great stuff. So Quentin, let's move to the interesting part, which everybody wants to listen. You had an idea, you started working on the product, right? Did you already had a client or a customer before you started, or what did you do to get your first customer?
So we were very lucky because we started with a customer. Um, not the day one, but before the end of the first week almost, and we created the company, the corporation, for being able to receive money from our first customer. That was Louis Vuitton, the big French brand. But what I would do if I were starting again a startup now, getting the first customer is key. I see so many people the entrepreneurs that want to build something, mostly engineers, and that want to have the perfect product. And they can explain you by XYZ why this product is better than the competition that have actual customer, but they don't because they never chase them. And my message for them would be like, just remove your eyes from cursor and go outside and find a customer. And if you can have at least one or two people that are okay to pay, then you can go back to your computer. Now it's so fast to iterate that it's even simpler to sell something that doesn't exist yet, but you know that in 2 days you can have it. And once you have someone that is able to buy it, you build it.
Yeah, definitely. So let's let's talk more about um, a compelling case study. Like, can you share a compelling case study that highlights how a company leveraged MiniSearch solution to achieve success and solve their key business challenges? I would love to hear about a specific problem they were facing and the steps taken to implement your solution and the measurable outcomes they experience as a result.
Okay, very very interesting. First, the good things to spot is that MeiliSearch is used by a lot of different use cases. We are using e-commerce, we are using support, we are using SaaS application, we are using a lot of different applications. What should be understood is that in most of the case, when someone is using MeiliSearch, the search is almost the main point of contact for finding information. There is too many information to just be able to click on an interface to find it. There is always challenges at having a search that is super efficient and being able to find something for the users super efficiently. If I'm taking the example of a customer we have now that is doing a support, they are very big. It's a big corporate, so they know exactly how many people they have answering ticket on the support, how many tickets they have daily, and they can measure precisely how the search on their support center is helping deflecting the support. So they implemented MeiliSearch for being able to deflect as much as support, and so it's quite new. So there are still the numbers are still moving, but they can already see that just having a better search experience is reducing by a lot the number of tickets that are open, because if people find by themselves something on the support, they will be able to not reach the support. Oh, you are muted. You are muted.
I was just thinking, was there a quantifying number? Like, for example, before you implemented the search, they were receiving, let's say, 500 support requests in a month. And then after MiliSearch was implemented, it reduced to 100, something like that.
For this use case, I don't have the precise number,
Mhm.
but I know, for example, that for most of the e-commerces we are helping today, the conversion is increasing by 20% approximately.
Mhm.
So looking at the volume they could have, it could be a lot of revenue, additional revenue. And this is mostly due because when someone in most of the traditional marketplaces, it's happened very often that you search for something and you have a blank result, like nothing happier. What do? You are going back to Google and you will probably never come back on the e-merchant. And that's what we are trying to avoid with MeiliSearch. We want to have never zero result, always something to show.
Mm. Interesting. That's quite a straightforward use case for a search solution, which is what people want. They want to reduce their support backlog, and they want to improve the customer service. Uh, you know, was there any other use cases you guys have? You provide a solution to a company where the primary pain point was around um, the huge data sets of the company, not related to the physical support tickets, but it's more about gaining the access to the information which is deep under the mountain of the data.
Yeah, it happened very often that we have customer with 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 millions document. They have to showcase to their customers. It's something that works pretty well with MeiliSearch. So it's mostly SaaS company. What we see now more and more is all the AI companies. They have AI agents that are creating a lot of data that need to be searched then. And so their data is just growing a lot. And they still need to be able to search into those data. Imagine image. If you are, because we can search on text, but also on image with MeiliSearch and on any kind of media. So if you are generating images, you want to store them and you want the users to be able to search back on them to find them. And that's the kind of thing that could happen where it's just growing exponentially, and we have to keep up the index up to date, and to always have the best search performance for this amount of data.
Indeed, indeed. That's great. That's great. So Quentin, I want to take a step back now. I'm eager to learn more about person, you as a person behind the innovative venture. Can you take us back to your roots and share with our listeners about your upbringing, your childhood? How did your early experiences shape your journey and eventually led you to become the visionary entrepreneur you are today? And were there any key influences from your family or surroundings that played a significant role in in shaping your entrepreneurial spirit? You know, somebody like rich dad poor dad kind of personality. And then we would love to hear more about the foundation that sets you on this incredible path.
Okay. So I come from a very, very small town, village, more, from Brittany. It's a part of France. 200 inhabitants in my village. Um, and it's like very the countryside. Nothing happened. It's like very, very dead. And that's why I had also to, with my brother and sisters, my two sisters and my brother, I had to find and do stuff by our own. So that's where we started to build things all together. And also because my father were entrepreneurs, he had a carpentry construction, let's say, business. And I think he always showed me what does it mean to work hard to make things happen. But I also lived in a very lovely family where my mother was always here to help me in my education, in everything. So I live between someone that have high intention and high objective and that is working hard, but both was working hard, but not in the same way, to create a business, and the other one working hard to spread love into the family. And I think I'm very, very inspired by my two parents for this. And I think it created everything I made then later, and it made me become who I am. They also let me experience everything from my during my studies. I dropped my school; they were behind me during this period. I went from my university to a school that is not registered into the state list, and they were really behind me, helping me, even if I was not good during school. They were always very supportive because they knew that I wanted to do some stuff in my life. I was not made for school, but I would success. I will have some success, whatever I will do. Yeah, I think it's what shaped my trajectory in my life.
I love that part because um, most of the most billionaires you look into the world, they all come from non-wealthy family and from a smaller place of the world. Elon Musk, South Africa. I think Steve Jobs was also an immigrant in US. I'm not sure much about Trump, but I think Wozniak was also immigrant in US. So I hear all these stories. For example, Satya Nadella, immigrant from India. Who's Google's CEO right now? I think it's I forgot his name. He's also an immigrant. So it's like all these people coming from small places, struggling through their life, but that's where they find their like vision for the life, like what they want to do, and that helps, right? Whereas the second generation of multimillionaires, I don't see them as a visionary person. They need to work on top of what they have acquired, but it's very hard, or it's very hard in our current social um, space that we have seen many entrepreneurs coming up from a from a sound or privileged background, to be honest. So Quentin, throughout your journey, then you had multiple experience, right? There must have been valuable lessons learned. If you don't mind sharing, could you reflect on your experiences and tell us about one mistake or a setback that you encountered along the way that you consider a regret or a lesson learned, one of them? And additionally, what advice would you give our listeners based on this experience?
Huh. Very interesting question, because I think I made a lot of mistakes, and I think it's how we also build ourselves and we learn. It's part of the experience and very important. I think the main what is interesting is that the question can change when you ask. If you were asking me this 2 weeks ago or in 2 weeks, the answer would be probably different. I think that the biggest mistake I did from a long time ago was the people I was surrounded by, or that I was working with. And I think being able to say no to just someone that is okay, and looking for very experienced people and very talented people day one should be something. And I'm very happy with the person that I work with today. But I would have been willing to also work with people that would have bring me a lot day one. Today I'm very well surrounded and have a lot of people around me that is helping me learning much faster. But like 5 or 8 years ago, it was not the case. And it's something now I learn. I learn too late. Can we say too late? It's never too late, but finding the right people and learning from the right people is something super important.
So surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, or right people, basically learning with them and making sure that if you're around wrong people, get out from that situation and bring more people around you who add value into your life.
I never felt that I was like with wrong people, but I should have spent a bit more time doing my network to find the best people to learn from day one.
Indeed. Interesting.
As an engineer and as an introvert, I was not super into building a network, and today it's an issue. It's not anymore an issue so much, but I might have learned much faster with the right people.
Indeed. Great. Well, Quentin, we are having this conversation and I loved it, but we have limited time. So we have one more section in our interview, which is 6 quickfire lightning round questions for you. If you think one of the questions you don't want to answer, you can just say skip and then we'll skip. But I don't think so you'll skip any because they're very straightforward questions. Are you ready?
Okay, let's go.
Great. Number one, what are the top 3 strategies to enable your platform with instant search capability in 2025?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Sure. So let's say if you have a startup and you want to implement a search capability on your platform. So what are the top 3 strategies you should implement in order to have the best experience for your customer?
Okay, so you should use MeiliSearch for sure, and you should use AI search because it will enable a lot of business very, very easily. But never think that AI only will be perfect. You should have something mixing text and AI. It's super, super important.
Indeed. What book would you recommend to our audience and why?
What book? I think that all the books from Stripe Press are awesome. They are very, very different, all of them. There is one on open source, some on building large-scale enterprise, and some on very on arts. They are all super good, but even if I read a lot of business books, I would recommend to look more for science fiction and other kind of books, because you can learn a lot by reading more, just reading more.
Great. Which press you mentioned? Stripe Press.
Stripe, yes, Stripe, the payment platform.
They have a press?
Yes, they have a
Oh,
website that no one know,
okay.
Stripe Press.
Uh-huh.
Look into it. You will see that they have very, very good books. They select. They have probably 20 of them. They
Okay.
select, and I think they also publish some. They are the only publisher, and they are very, very good.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. I'm reading right now Profit First from Mike. So once I'm done, I'll add one of their books into my reading list. So thanks for that. Number three, what one attribute or characteristic in your mind of a successful founder?
Very easy. The capability of how I don't know how to say it in English, but you know when you throw a rock it will bounce on the water. So the ability to bounce on issue.
Ability to bounce on the issues.
I don't know if it's the right translation in
Hmm.
English, but the ability to not
Get
feel
drained
bad
inside
because
the water, but jump on
yeah
it.
yeah always being able to jump over the obstacle.
Mm. Mm. I have a French friend. Maybe I will ask him about how to translate it. But we have this episode, so I'll ask him to, listen to it and let us know that what's the exact translation. But thanks for that.
I am also very good at inventing some expressions
There
and
you go.
translate doing wrong translation of French expression to English.
Why not? Why not? Right? You could have coined some of the terms also. What's your favorite personal productivity tool or habit?
Using Recast.
Mm.
I don't know if you use Recast, but I'm using like every 10 seconds for everything. And probably the most important is for correcting all the typo I can do.
What is a high cost?
Recast is a productivity app replacing Spotlight on Mac that allow you to search on all the file, but also on all the application. And they have a lot of shortcut.
Hmm.
And for example, I have one shortcut that I can in two keystroke correct and fix a text I've selected. Fix all the typos and improve the text. And it's something I'm using like every 10 seconds.
Is it paid or free?
They have a free version that is quite massive, and
Hmm.
they have also a paid version for team, and we have all our team on it.
Oh, perfect. I'll have a look into it. I'll check it out. Thanks for that. What's a new or a crazy business idea you would love to pursue if you had time?
That is not around search. No, I'm quite obsessed by our business today, and I have a lot of ideas about it, and something I know that it might be complex for MeiliSearch to put, but you know, Anthropic introduced MCP, and it became a kind of by default solution.
Mm.
I would love to be able to prove to anyone that MCP could be used almost as a replacement of HTTP navigation.
Mm.
And now you have some Markdown extension replacing HTTP pages for LLMs.
Mm.
But if for each website you had a slash MCP page that were only a big MCP view where LLM could go and search for, it would be awesome. And because MiliSearch is the perfect conversational search and is compatible with MCP, my dream will be able to deploy MiliSearch for all websites in the world, allowing to have a MCP running for all websites and making possible the agent and LLM to not collect data over all the websites, page by page, but to just go to those MCP and ask the questions they need.
That would be awesome, isn't it? It's like an internet. It's like a browser.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. And last but not least, what's an interesting or a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Fun fact, interesting things. I am doing a lot of sports, and I really love to do not extreme, but almost extreme, like climbing stuff or paragliding. And I am the kind of guy that is doing paragliding without having done with someone else. I'm doing alone, just for the sake of seeing how it will go.
That's very
Uh,
nice. Yeah, I mean, I love badminton playing, so I know that sports brings quite a lot of things, energy in your life back. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Quentin. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story, unpacking the last years of building this business and some of the ups and downs along the way. If people want to check out your profile, what they have to Google or what is the website, and if the people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
The best way to be in touch with me is my LinkedIn. So if people want to connect, I'll try to answer to all LinkedIn message I have. So it will be the best. So Quentin Dekela on LinkedIn. So it's hard to pronounce for the US, but they will be able to find my name and to search for me on LinkedIn.
Great. And what's the website for MiliSearch?
MeiliSearch.com.
MiliSearch.com straight away. Great. Quentin, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey and the impactful work you're doing through MiliSearch. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Founders Podcast.
Pleasure shared. Thank you very much.